This story of my arriving in Canada, or my arrival in Canada, is also a story of my path to offering good work, or my path to being in service, I suppose.
I was born in Barbados, and the country of my birth afforded me the opportunity to see some of the best examples of being in service to society, to community. While I lived there, I didn't really see this concept of being in service in those specific terms, being in service to society. It was simply a case where I was inspired by people like my mother, as well as one of my first employers and mentors, Dr. Colin Hudson. They supported others. They believed in the value of others. They wanted others to become better than they were. And I wanted to be like them.
For me, I remember a specific moment when I was in the Dominican Republic. I'd gone there to work with a rural community, and while I was there, the community was struggling with access to electricity, but more importantly, struggling with access to education. And because I had had the fortune of having a fairly good education, I could see how much of an impact the lack of education was having on school kids and the community in general. And I wanted to do something about it. I found that it wasn't just a project to me anymore. It was a personal investment in helping to serve the community. And we found that in the communal space, they had had an amazing resource, coconut trees. And I had been doing research into a particular field, the biofuels area, and found that I could actually use this knowledge to build, or to help to build a better community for these people. The result didn't quite work out the way that we'd planned. There were lots of setbacks and snafus along the way. But the idea of good work stayed with me for a long time. I came back to Barbados, and after having lived in the community for a while, and after having actually made some change in the community, came back to Barbados, and put the idea out there that this field was something that I could do to impact my home, Barbados, this tiny little island. And I threw out a couple of proposals and a couple of ideas, and all of a sudden, I was suddenly I was thrust as the star child of Barbados and received all of this money through grants and awards. And suddenly, with all of these resources, it felt like, well, I need to even step up a little bit more and really be of service.
I started a business. It was in the biofuels area. It was pretty successful. It was one of the first of its kind in the Caribbean. It was the first of its kind in the Caribbean. And in many ways, I thought that this was going to be my contribution of service. This was what I was meant to do.
As a new immigrant to Canada, the whole, now that I can identify with the with other immigrants, with no longer being someone who is just going to a country for a short period of time and offering something, or being in my own country and offering something. But now I'm in a situation where I'm creating a life again. I'm literally recreating a life. I find that the recreation of this life is also at the same time the offering of service.